He's a white car salesman.
Wait a minute, what do you mean, white? He's like white?
Whoopi Goldberg's daughter gets the shock of her life when she discovers her real father is none other than the sleazy local car dealer played by Ted Danson in Made in America, one of the new movies we'll review this week on Siskel and Ebert, along with Sylvester Stallone's Cliffhanger. I'm Roger Ebert of the Chicago Sun-Times.
And I'm Gene Siskel of the Chicago Tribune. I still got that sore throat, but don't worry, it's getting better. Our first film is Made in America, and it's a mess. This is the film that generated some supermarket tabloid buzz because it stars Whoopi Goldberg and Ted Danson apparently fell in love during the making of it, and he's married, and they're an interracial couple, and wow, what a scandal. But we're reviewing the movie here, and it's a thoroughly implausible story in which Whoopi Goldberg plays the proprietor of an African-American bookstore, and she has a lovely daughter who she hasn't told one big secret. The daughter was conceived through a sperm bank. The plot gets going when Goldberg's daughter finds out about her origins and breaks into the sperm bank, along with her buddy, played by Will Smith.
Can I help you? Yes, I have a friend here who's interested in donating.
No, you don't!
He's a little shy.
And guess who she discovers the father is? I know you're ahead of me. Ted Danson plays the gimmicky California car dealer based on Cal. Go see Cal Worthington. Of course, Whoopi Goldberg wants nothing to do with Danson, at least I know you're way ahead of me again, for the first act of the movie.
Don't touch me.
Well, of course not. No, ma'am. Well, hell, I understand what's happening here. There's a recession going on. I'll tell you what. No down payment. Now, you looking for something special today?
Yeah. Your head on a stick.
This is gonna be a tough sale.
And you can guess the rest of the film, too. Here's a film that is so caught up with being politically correct that it doesn't have the guts to write some truly funny, believable dialogue about such a potent situation. Will Smith is relegated to playing an eye-popping clown. Ted Danson looks wasted and stiff. Whoopi Goldberg overacts. Only Nia Long is a fresh face as the perfect daughter. Made in America is a TV pilot masquerading as a movie, safe and warm and boring as it can be.
You know, that's funny because I liked it a whole lot more than you did. And I thought that, in particular, you're zeroing in on Ted Danson. At the beginning, his character is wildly overwritten in terms of the obnoxious car dealer behavior. But toward the end of the film, toward the last hour of the film, there's a lot of gentleness and a lot of warmth that comes in here, and I felt that it really did work.
Guys like this, these car dealers, are very sharp people.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, why not have him write real sharp and try to figure out a way to get out of this or to run from it? You know what I'm saying? In other words,
I can easily think of ways to make this movie better.
Oh,
in fact,
yes.
Gene, when you were saying the movie is predictable, if we didn't want to go to any movies unless they were unpredictable, we wouldn't have very many movies to go to, because in Hollywood today, the whole formula for making a movie is to just combine parts of other movies so that there hasn't been an original screenplay. Probably not one screenplay in 20 is original, but I did feel that as unoriginal material, this did work.
What a heck of a compliment.
How many other original movies have you seen this year from America? Not many.
Not many, but I don't give them positive reviews either. Go ahead.
Okay, I will. Our next movie is an original movie. How's that?
Yes, it
Our
is.
next movie is named Menace to Society. And this is one of the strongest and bleakest and most powerful movies I've ever seen about the crisis conditions of young blacks in the inner city. If Boys in the Hood shows the hope, this fine movie shows the despair. It tells the story of a young man named Kane who goes with his friend to a grocery store and is horrified when the friend decides on the spur of the moment to commit armed robbery and murder.
I don't want any trouble. Just get out. Stay in a job. I feel sorry for your mother. What you say about my mama? I don't want any trouble. Just get out.
Kane, played by Tyron Turner, has not had a good start in life. His father was a murderer, his mother died of a drug overdose, and while Kane is still in high school, he works as a drug dealer. But there are people who care for him, including his high school teacher.
Being a black man in America isn't easy. The hunt is on. and you're the prey.
That's Charles S. Dutton as the teacher. Another person who cares about Kane is Ronnie, played by Jada Pinkett, who's the girlfriend of one of Kane's idols, who is now in prison.
Why are you so worried about me?
Why shouldn't I be?
Meanwhile, Kane is picked up on a car theft charge, and his fingerprints link him to the murder at the grocery store. Despite the fact that Kane is a violent and lawless young man, destructive to himself and everyone around him, with no prospects and no glimmer of what to do with his life, we sense that he isn't really a bad person. He isn't evil. He is simply totally lacking in the value systems that most people take for granted. He's been raised among guns and drugs, alcohol and crime, casual sex and irresponsibility, and that's all he knows. Menace to Society is a powerful and important film directed by the Hughes brothers. They resist any temptation to manufacture a phony upside, but is obviously a tragic story.
I agree with you. This is one of the best films I've seen this year.
Yes, it is.
And I'll talk about it in just movie terms, because obviously it's onto the social issues and it has them in the right way without being, you know, goody-goody. It maintains its level of despair. But these guys know how to direct a picture. There isn't an uninteresting shot in this film. We see sequences where this little boy wanders through the little Kane. We see him wander through parties where you can realize, you see the value system soaked up inside him, so that everything that he does thereafter is perfectly logical.
He's only about this tall when he sees his father shoot a man at a card table.
But again, the style of the way that scene is done is not the way you might see it in some flashback, frankly, the way Mario Van Peebles shoots flashbacks in Posse. Here we see it just as a natural kind of thing. It isn't heightened insert shots. It's just casually walking through, because this is the world that's around him. This is the world, and this is where it leads to. And it's a powerful film.
And later on, one of the things that's shocking is how long these people, the character and his friends, are able to get away with the fact that they've committed murder. Then some other murders take place. They're playing the videotape at parties, but they never get caught. I mean, they keep slipping through the hands of the law because, frankly,
no one cares.
This stuff is going on such a widespread basis there just isn't time to care about one murder or one perpetrator.
No, very few people
don't care.
Very few people care.
That's right. It's a great...
Yes, it is.
It's a great film. Yes, it is. Menace to Society. Coming up next, the director of Die Hard 2 casts Sylvester Stallone in his latest action picture. It's called Cliffhanger.
Sarah, that's great. You're starting to look like a pro. Keep going. That's it, nice and easy. Hey, Al, we're going to be out of a job soon. All right, a little more, Sarah. That's it.
That's Sylvester Stallone as a mountain rescue expert in Cliffhanger, the new action picture from director Rennie Harlin, whose Die Hard 2 was such a kick. But this time, with more spectacular scenery, Harlin doesn't have a very good story to tell. In fact, the movie is filled with howlingly bad scenes. Stallone is a mountain rescue guide whose life is changed when he foolishly blames himself for a rescue attempt that goes fatally wrong.
I don't want to die!
Sarah! Reach up and grab him! Reach up! Sarah, reach up!
Come on, honey! Use your other hand!
Reach up!
Reach up now!
Stallone quits his job, becomes a hermit, but naturally he's talked into making a comeback to foil a bunch of thieves, led by John Lithgow, who has stolen a massive amount of U.S. currency and crash-landed with it in the mountains. The centerpiece of the film is a series of mountaintop battles, but the silliest is between Stallone and a bad guy as they slide toboggan-style downhill. Stallone wildly overacts through the film, grimacing constantly, while his female partner, played by Janine Turner from TV's Northern Exposure, is as calm and as pretty as can be. It's like Rocky Balboa meets a model from the Land's End catalog. Cliffhanger has all of the impact of one of those car commercials where they stick the automobile on top of a peak, leaving you to wonder how it got there and then how it's going to be brought down. I assume they do it with a helicopter, and that's how the people in this movie probably got where they go, too. I just wonder why they went to all that effort without a compelling story. The villains are dull, and Stallone and his fellow climbers are even worse.
Gee, I don't know, Gene.
Oh, no, not this.
Yes. And first of all, to call John Lithgow dull, I think, is an insult. I think he's very good.
Oh, just compare him with the villain in Die Hard 2.
I like Lithgow very much in this film, but another thing, and maybe it's because I have a special relationship to heights, because I'm afraid of them. Yeah. But I thought the mountain climbing stuff in this movie was truly sensational. It was well made. The special effects, if that's what they were well done. There are shots where you can see that it's really Stallone up there because they use a telephoto lens. And I got a feeling of vertigo. I got a feeling of involvement and fear. And the movie did work for me. It worked.
Roger, that stuff is stunt work.
That's I don't care.
It's not a story. It's not a story. It's not a story.
You don't like any movie that uses stunt work? You just said you like Die Hard 2. That was stunt work, too. In fact, you know what? That wasn't a real building or whatever.
Roger, let me explain something to you.
First Die Hard,
Wait a
never
second.
mind.
I said that's stunt work. They don't have a story. Die Hard 2 had a story.
I don't care. I don't care.
Well,
I really don't care, because what I'm involved with from moment to moment is the fact that they're on the mountain, they're fighting with each other, and if they're not careful, they're going to fall off, and I'm in my seat, and I hope that they don't fall off because I'm scared. Now, that's on that level the movie works, and that's the level that most people will go to see it at. They're not going to sit there and say, oh, this is stunt work.
No, Roger. The reason why I say it is stunt work, it's stunt work. My point is that there's no story supporting it.
Oh,
you're praising No, Roger, you're praising this movie for not having a story.
I'm praising the movie for what it's about, and you're criticizing it for what doesn't matter.
No. Since when, as a movie, story doesn't matter, except in your review of Made in America, where it didn't matter either.
Gene, if I had more time, I'd be happy to help you with this. Okay, when we come back, Charlie Sheen is back again as the Weirdo Commando in Hot Shots Part 2.
Do you have any idea what would happen if you stay here with me?
Of course I do. Sex.
One man against 3,000. Is he a madman?
I guess he figures the odds are in his favor.
Charlie Sheen plays a hero very much like Rambo in Hot Shots Part 2. I wonder if everybody will know that deux is French for two. I don't think so, but who cares? It's the sequel to the hit comedy Hot Shots, which, like Airplane and Top Secret and Naked Gun Part 2 1/2, is a series of non-stop gags, mostly based on movie satires. In the film, Sheen, like Rambo, is retired to the East to lead a life of mystic contemplation, but his old commanding officer, played by Richard Crenna, appeals to his patriotism by telling him a story.
And when those bears returned and discovered that mess, do you know what happened then, Topper?
No.
That little blonde girl got scared. Ran away.
So what you're saying is that little blonde girl is me. If this is about me coloring my hair...
Topper, they didn't make you this fighting machine. They just cooked up the porridge and went for a walk.
Sheen agrees to go on a Middle East rescue mission, and along the way, he meets an old flame, a beautiful intelligence officer, played by Valeria Golino. The President of the United States, Tug Benson, is played in the film by Lloyd Bridges as a more or less complete idiot.
Here's where we are, and here is where they are.
Jesus. Oh, God.
Oh, no time for prayer, Bob.
Now, you've seen some fancy film criticism so far on this show, but I don't know if I can help you with Hot Shots Part 2. These movies are more or less impervious to film critics. All you can say is whether you liked it or not, and yes, I liked it, especially some of the really direct takeoffs on Rambo 3, which found their target. I liked it, and yet at the same time, I have a strange feeling that this genre may be reaching the end of its reproductive cycle. The movie was directed by Jim Abrahams, who was involved in the original Airplane, and 10 years later, the gags are still funny, but they're not exactly new anymore.
Well, some of them are new. I mean, what I like about it is that he really packs the frame. I mean, you can have a field day just looking around in the backgrounds there for all of the different gags that are going on, and they take things one level further. For example, a lot of people might rip off the spaghetti part of Lady and the Tramp, but to nudge the meatball. Now that's funny, and that's what these guys do. They take it one. It will not get tired as long as they keep pushing it and take it one little extra. There's about a 20-minute patch in the middle of the film where I thought that I didn't laugh very much, but around that some very big laughs.
Well, you know, with all of these movies, you go in knowing that you can put your intelligence on hold and just sit there and it's silly and it's
well,
goofy
but you know,
yeah.
what's funny is that actually, I don't think you check your intelligence. You just know your movies and didn't search the frame. That's kind of fun. Coming up next, The Long Day Closes, a nostalgic look at post-war England.
Our next film is named The Long Day Closes, and it's the latest autobiographical work by the director Terence Davis, who in a series of films has been chronicling his memories of a childhood in England. The hero of this film, named Bud, is a quiet, solemn boy who is sometimes an almost invisible observer to the rush of life all around him. He's close to his mother, and here he helps her with the washing. Sometimes an isolated moment will make an important impression in a life, and as he sees a construction worker across the way, he gets the impression of a self-confidence he will never feel, and we get the impression that perhaps when he grows up, he'll discover that he's a homosexual. In the Britain of the years after the war and before television really took hold, the neighbors socialize a lot and entertain each other, and the boy is a constant listener.
He's full of rhythm, though, isn't he?
Yeah, like St. Vitus.
You must realize I don't even know who St. Vitus is.
Don't start doing those stupid bleeding impressions.
Although Bud is surrounded by family and friends, he lives much of his life in his imagination. I found this movie poetic and haunting, and I thought it portrayed a real childhood more accurately than a lot of the heavily plotted kids' movies that we get. It knows two things about being a young boy. One, you are smarter and more observant than people realize. And two, a lot of the time, you're living in your dreams.
And that would apply to young girls as well.
Yes, it would, yes.
This is a real revelation, this film. All I can say is I wish more movies were like this. I wish the movie industry would move in this direction. And what's the direction? Really personal filmmaking. The film opens up with a shot of a street, a rainy street, and we expect there to be an edit and move on to some action or to have someone come into that scene. What happens? We keep looking at a stairway, and then we realize that what this movie is about looking at things and remembering the way things looked.
Yes.
And why isn't that a simply perfect goal for movies, instead of having, as we've been discussing for a while now, these ridiculous stories? So your criticism is right on target when you said this movie is very wise about what it's like to be a child, the kinds of things that make impressions on you more than some phony attached story.
This movie is almost like an education. To look at this movie is to learn more about how movies can be used in additional ways than just to telling a tightly plotted story. This movie takes you into the childhood of somebody else with such sharpness and vividness. And there's one thing I mentioned earlier when he's looking at that construction worker. Now, I happen to know, because I read interviews with the director, that he did grow up to become a homosexual. But this movie it doesn't really emphasize that. It's just like when he was this age, he just noticed things a little differently, and the movie doesn't hammer it in. It just kind of, it's sort of there, and you begin to see him developing in this way.
These were the things that he thought were beautiful.
Yes.
I tell you, I wish that this movie would become required viewing in film schools so that maybe a few students would take their eyes off of the big prize of Hollywood and move into this very personal style. It's a beautiful piece of filmmaking. This is a movie,
the man who made this movie can say, that's me up there on the screen, and not very many directors are able to say that. When we come back, our video pick of the week, A Letter to Three Wives, an Oscar winner that is finally on videotape.
Siskel and Ebert's Video Pick of the Week, brought to you by Orville Redenbacher, the first and last name in popcorn.
Now it's time for our weekly video segment, and my video pick of the week is A Letter to Three Wives, the 1949 film that won Academy Awards for Best Screenplay and Best Direction by Joseph L. Mankiewicz, a beloved Hollywood figure who died not too long ago. As the movie opens, three women have received letters from the town tramp who informs them that one of their husbands has decided to leave his marriage and live with her instead. But which of the three husbands?
So that's what she looks like.
You can't tell from that, really. It's only a picture.
She's beautiful, all right. She sort of looks like a queen, doesn't she?
Like a queen ought to look.
A Letter to Three Wives has been on Laserdisc for quite a while, but somehow it slipped through the cracks and is only now being released on tape. It's an intelligent movie with a lot of the sparkling dialogue that Mankiewicz was known for, and in a slick, romantic way, it actually touches on a few real truths about human relationships. That's our pick of the week. Now let's take another look at the movies we reviewed on this show. We split on Made in America. I thought the movie recovered from a slow start and found real laughs and real emotion. Gene thought it was a bad TV sitcom masquerading as a movie. 2 very big thumbs up, though, for Menace to Society, the story of inner-city violence. We both think it's one of the year's most important films. And a split vote for Sylvester Stallone's Cliffhanger. I thought it was a good action thriller with some amazing mountain climbing scenes. Gene thought it didn't have a strong enough story. And 2 thumbs up for Hot Shots Part Deux with Charlie Sheen in the Rambo role. And finally, 2 thumbs up for Terrence Davis's Haunting The Long Day Closes, an evocation of a shy, reclusive boy growing up in England.
That's it for this week. Next week we'll be back with reviews of more big summer movies, including Life with Mikey, starring Michael J. Fox as a former child star turned talent agent, and Guilty as Sin with attorney Rebecca De Mornay defending accused wife killer Don Johnson. That's next week. My voice is going to get better. And until then, the balcony is closed.
Berkline's Wall-Away recliner with the innovative hideaway side opens to reveal a handy tray for snacks and magazine storage. Looks and feels like a chaise lounger from Berkline. Fashion Bug, 1,200 stores carrying the latest in junior, Mrs., plus, girls, and men's fashions. 1-800-FB fits and the letter U. Fashion Bug fits your life. Load Hugger cargo nets expand to hold groceries, tools, sporting, and camping gear securely in place and are easy to install. No tools required. Load Hugger cargo nets. Armatron All Sport, beautifully designed, water-resistant with alarm, chronograph, and dual time. Perfect for Father's Day. Armatron, the best price quality watch in America.